tips for March. Now, before you practice your piece, it's always a really good idea to play through scales and arpeggios in the key of the piece you are learning. So if we have a look at March, we can see that it has 2 sharps in the key signature, so we know to play D major scale before we start practicing March. So let's just run through our D major scale, and we're going to go up to high A. And now we're going to do the arpeggio, so D major arpeggio. Again, seeing if we can go up to high A. And then we've kind of got in the mindset of D major, 2 sharps. Ta-da, we are ready to start. So March, we've got quite a lot of scale-like passages, for example, and lots of arpeggio places. Having a look at the end of the first section and at the end of the piece with the really high note at the very end. So those 2 places are places to really practice on their own, looking at the end of the first section first of all. So I would really just practice that really slowly, watching out for your C sharps, yeah? Really slowly, maybe like 4 or 5 times, and then gradually build up your speed there. Oh, we've got a really cool trill in the second line of the first page. We've got starting on a thumb, whoa, which I think is really cool. So let's go straight on that bar. We've got now. This is a C sharp, but a sneaky C sharp fingering. So we would usually, but because trilling between C sharp and B would be really lots of finger faff, we've got starting on the thumb. So that would be my second place to have a look at. We've got arpeggio jumps, and we've got the trill starting on the thumb. We've got accents. We've got quite a lot of accents in this piece. So our accent, we're just going to think of a slightly more defined tonguing. T, t. Yeah? Ooh, that was a really big kick. We don't want as big a kick as that, but it's just a bit more of a t, t, tonguing for our accents. So watch out for those. And then in the second page, ooh, our lovely G sharps are back. Yeah, so just going from the second section. Now I would practice this bit slowly on its own. Till I'm really happy with my G sharps, okay? I would block off that section and just practice that little bit again and again, watching out for my G sharp and then my G natural, okay? And then the next section we've got, I like to think of it as like a little conversation section. We've got so you can kind of hear 2 voices talking there. We've also got a sequence and it's getting higher and higher, which means we can be a bit louder and louder, crescendoing through that. Watch out for your C sharps in that section. Yay. Although I should also say watch out for the 1 C natural at the end of line 2 on the second page. Watch out for that sneaky C natural there. And then, yeah, then you've got carrying on. Again, another scale-like passage. And then our arpeggio at the end. Woo, and that is March. So you can also practice your lovely high note at the end. Yay, our high D. It's this fingering with a pinch at the back. And I often do half of my little finger as well, just to get it a little more in tune. It kind of depends on your recorder. So you can play your low D first of all, low D, and then try the high D. And then depending on how tuning wise, you can add no little finger, or you can add a little bit of your little finger, da, 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 until it matches the same as the lower D, okay? Great, I think those are all my tips for March. It's a really great piece. Have fun.